Hello, welcome or welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing our ode to Alicia from Glam Dragon Nails, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting on something to arrive, so I was literally filming this tonight before it had to be put up, and oh, lots of fun. So we are starting with a dragon because Alicia is our glam dragon. So the idea behind these nails is we are having a monthly spotlight on the Lip Smacking Nails channel, and Alicia is our monthly spotlight for July. She's our first person, which is really fitting because she is one of the founders of Lip Smacking Nails, and she's just an incredible person. And there are certain things that I just associate with Alicia, and I'm hopefully going to be trying to represent those in this set of nails. So I started off with two of the things that I associate with Alicia: dragons, I've forgotten to put on my gloves, and cat eye. So this is a clear jelly cat eye from Dali Artistic, and it's a fabulous silver cat eye. And the mold that I'm using is curved with the dragon inside it, so that it would be then curved when it goes onto the nail. And I've never used this type of mold before, and I'm very much trying to figure out what on earth I am doing with this. I genuinely have no clue. So, which, you know, the majority of things that I do, that's fairly standard. So we're just sort of, you know, playing around, trying to fill in the spaces, but then not have it on the surround of the nail, what would be the nail as well. And yeah, that's been fun to try to do, because actually some of the sections are quite small, so if you apply too much pressure you actually scrape it out the little hollows. If you don't apply enough pressure, you're not going to pick it up from the places that you don't want it. I know a couple of others in the group today have this mold as well, so I'm fully expecting to see this a couple of other times today. So just trying to clean up around it before I put it into cure. But obviously, because it's also a cat eye, what's at the base is going to be at the top. So we're going to get a magnet. Oh, I timed that really well. See if we can do anything. And I have no idea if I'm achieving anything here. I've never tried to do this before, and you know, like a lot of my things, it's a lot of trial and error. One of Alicia's favourite colours is purple, so the base of the nails is going to be purple. So this is Japanese Violet from Dali Artistic as well. And yeah, so the idea is we're going to put our dragon on top of that. So trying to make sure that's nice and even, and sticking that into the lamp as well. Getting our dragon out. And I mean, what I could have and probably should have done was put a coat of the purple on it, but I didn't, and I put a clear coat instead. I think the purple would have worked better, because then that's what's on the nail as well. But you know, I know for next time. And that is one of the things about Alicia. She is always trying to encourage people and get us to try new things as well. And you know, that's one of the reasons behind Lip Smacking Nails, is to have a group of creative nail artists who are learning from each other and inspiring each other and supporting each other. So we've done this. I'm actually quite impressed with how the dragon itself has turned out, but I'm not happy about the clear coat on the back. So, like I said, I wish I'd done it in the purple, and I think that would have turned out quite well. So now I need to do plan B, because again, that did not occur to me at the time, and instead the idea, ooh, let's pick a different purple that will show up in this. So I looked at the Shay J one, compared it to the Dolly one, and no, that wasn't going to work. So we've gone with another Dolly purple. This is a glitter purple, which is called Inclusion, which is perfect for Alicia because she is all about creating an inclusive environment and ensuring that everyone feels welcome within the Lip Smacking Nails group. So we're going to try this in purple. We're going to see how it gets on. I'm just trying to get it into all the various little nooks and crannies of that mould, which actually is quite difficult to actually get them in there perfectly without it overflowing. I need to find out from others how they manage these type of mould, and I did see someone with this who unboxed something recently with this mould. Was it Alicia? It could have been Alicia. There we go. This is exactly the type of thing she'd have. I have a feeling it was Alicia unboxed this at something over the weekend. I'm nearly sure. I'm sure I'll be corrected on that. If you're watching this as a premiere, I'm sure you'll correct me if it was you that actually unboxed. I'm 99% sure it was Alicia or Miss T. Another fabulous creator, also a co-founder of Lip Smacking Nails, and actually it was Miss T's name that was the draw pulled first, but she said no. So she let it pull again, and it came out with Miss T, with Alicia. And that was on our live last month, or the beginning of this month, beginning of July. And our next live is going to be on Saturday. And currently I am going to be part of that live. I have no idea. It's deconstructing nails. I need to figure out what it's about. And I may or may not back out of that one. I'm going to try not to. So we have our dragon. I haven't put a coat of anything on it this time. I've just taken him out. We're going to trim around some of the bits that aren't part of the mould, aren't part of the dragon, part of the mould. And then we're going to get our dragon onto our nail. So I thought I had everything ready, but I didn't. I had to go in search of my little scissors. But we're just going to trim a couple of little bits off this, and hopefully he'll be looking a little bit neater for going onto the nail. And the fact that they are curved makes it much easier to put them onto the nail, because they have the shape of the nail already there. I still have no idea what I'm really doing, and I'm still, figuring out all of those bits and pieces, but we're getting there. We're improving with it. Just checking, does it actually show up on the nail? And it does. It's not the world's greatest contrast, so I will make a little change to that in a moment. And again, I wish I'd done this change differently, but hindsight is 2020, and definitely I don't have that until afterwards. So we're giving this a little bit of a clean, remove that tacky layer, And then we are going to use the McCart rhinestone gel, and we are, apparently there's a little corner of this I'm not happy with, and I just give it another little wipe. So we're going to use the McCart rhinestone gel and use that then to attach our little dragon. So our little Glam dragon needed a little bit more shine and sparkle once we get it on. And see, because it's curved, I'm not trying to force down the sides or anything like that. You know, there's no need to try to press down the sides to try to get everything to fit into place or anything like that, or to avoid it lifting at the side. Because it's curved, it does that automatically. It's brilliant. So just flash curing that into place to keep it there. And then I am going to top coat the entire nail, dragon included. And no, I'm going to trim another little bit that is stray first before I go top coating everything. So even though it's a glittery dragon, the glitters aren't showing up as much as I'd like, and I'd like to do a little bit more with that. But we're going to top coat it first, and then we will add a little bit more sparkle to it once it comes out of the lamp. So Alicia there's a couple of things about her that, you know, like I said, when I think of those things, I immediately think Alicia. And one of those is labubus. And I was waiting. I'd ordered some labubu nail charms, and I was waiting and hoping that they would turn up in time. And it was very much putting things down to the wire yesterday to see whether or not I'd be able, would I have to rethink my design or not. So we're going to use some of this cat eye, the clear jelly cat eye, on top of the dragon. And cat eyes are another thing that I associate with Alicia. She just seems to have mastered how to cat eye things. And I'm very much still trying to figure it out, which is why I will be spending a lot of time in this video when I'm doing cat eyes trying to get the cat eyes perfect. They need to be They need to be perfect. Because she's our cat eye queen, so I need to, this is an ode to Alicia, they need to be as perfect as I can get them. So just moving some of the polish around to some of the areas that it is lacking and taking it out some of the areas where it's not needed. And there we have our little dragon, and we're going to put him in to cook, and there he is, all done. And I'm actually really happy with how that has turned out. If I was to redo that nail, I would either do, like I said the first time, the silver cat eye to begin with, and then instead of the clear coat over the back, do a a purple coat. But then, as I've discovered, you don't actually need it. Or, to create a greater contrast, I think next time, rather than going over the dragon in the cat eye afterwards, I think I would put the cat eye onto the base nail and then have the dragon really standing out on it. But actually, it still creates a really cool effect with that. So that is nail number 1 done. Our second nail, we are going onto a Shea J polish. It is kind of a grape coloured purple, which I like. What did I do with this now? I only did them last night, but they're the other side of the room, and I don't have the energy at the moment to get up and get them. So again, spending a lot of time getting this perfect. Normally when I do the videos, I do everything at double speed. And then I'm doing the voiceover afterwards. But by request of Miss Alicia, I am not doing that this time. She did say I could speed up some of the video parts if I wanted to, but I generally don't just either speed everything up or just do it all at normal speed. So this one, we have done 2 coats of the base colour. I just didn't show it. And the next thing we are doing is we are going to create a tiara. Now, Alicia is someone who I first met when I started going to the bingo sessions, the online bingo sessions being run by Crystal from Blue Rose Nail Studio. So in her Be Your Nail Talk Facebook group, once a month she organises a bingo session. And the first time I went, she was talking about a tiara that she was wearing, and this other person was also wearing a tiara, and apparently that's something associated with them, and that person is Miss Alicia. So tiaras are very much something that she has started a trend for within the group, and I now have my tiara of bingo as well. So my attempt here was a crystal tiara. So we have started with a heart-shaped rhinestone, and then I was going to put a dangle charm underneath it, and then I realised, Ellen, you're creating a tiara, not a necklace. So that didn't last very long, and we scrapped that idea. We've kept the heart, but we lose the dangle that we've just put on beneath it. So I'm just looking at it and sort of in my head going, this isn't going to work out the way I wanted it to. So that one's coming off, and we're just going to wipe off the excess glue so that it's not going to leave any marks or leave any raised pieces when we cure the heart piece in place. So there's a lot of flash curing in this one. So I've decided to use the AB rhinestones, and we're also going to include some green rhinestones as well. So there's a bit of fluff that I'm just picking off. No idea where it came from. Flash curing the heart into place. And I can't just have a single heart as a crown. That's not going to be glam enough. So we're going to get a couple of other pieces. We're going to use, sort of looking at both and trying to figure out what I'm going to use. And we went with this piece. I think ended up being too big. Yeah, no, it just didn't work for what I wanted it to. So I want them coming out the side of it, but this one's just too long. So I have a couple of boxes with AB crystals in it in different shapes. So we find one. I think they're like slightly elongated, like diamond shapes, but they're still small enough that they fit onto the sides, either side of the nail. And so hopefully you'll see them now. Maybe if I actually remember to be on screen. We are using a new camera setup because the old camera just stopped working, and I did not want to risk it started cutting out in the middle of these ones and me missing entire nails, because quite honestly, it did that during a recent video and I cried afterwards. And that was just us watching video. It wasn't me creating a set of nails. It's something I can redo easily. But yeah, I didn't want anything like that happening with this. So I was recording it on my phone, which I've never done before. And yeah, we were having fun trying to figure out that one, but it seems to be working quite well. I just have to remember to, again, stop it after every 20 or so minutes and send the file to my computer so that I don't run out of space. So we're going to flash cure these into place as well. And then to make it a tiara, we obviously need a band on our tiara. So we're going to do a band of small green and AB rhinestones underneath. And we'll put in some caviar beads as well for good measure, just because, you know, you have to, when you've got a cluster of nails like this, you have to have some caviar beads. And after I'd finished this nail, I was looking at it and I was going, this reminds me of something, but there's something missing. And then I looked down at my hand and I wear a claddagh ring. And the claddagh is made up of a heart being held by two hands. And obviously the hands then create a band to go around the finger, or you can get it that like they're going over the top, around, if it's like for a pendant. And my claddagh has a green heart in it, and I had chosen to put green and AB crystals on this. The other symbol on the claddagh is there's a crown on top of the heart. Now I don't have a crown on top of the heart of this one, but it is to represent a crown or tiara. So I think the symbology still works there. And the symbology of the claddagh, so it's an Irish symbol. Claddagh is an area in Galway, in County Galway, Galway City, just by the coast. So if you're out at like where the River Corrib goes into the sea in Galway, you're in the claddagh. And the claddagh is a fishing village, or would have been. So you have the Spanish Arch on one side and you have the claddagh ring on the other, or the claddagh on the other. And the claddagh ring is associated with this area. This is where it was first developed and first created and made. And the symbols on it, the heart represents love, the crown loyalty, and the hands friendship. And I think that image works with Alicia as well. So yeah, this somehow ended up representing the tiaras that she wears. And the imagery of the claddagh as well. So sometimes you will find them without the crown on top, but that would be quite rare. But you know, this is an interpretation, not planned, but I'm now turning this into my claddagh nail. And it is quite often used within Irish culture. They're often used as like wedding bands and things like that for Irish couples. But also, a claddagh, if you know how to wear it, if you're wearing it correctly, it symbolises your relationship status. So if you wear it on the right hand with the heart pointing outwards, so the crown is nearest to your hand, the point of the heart is going towards your finger, then that means you are single.
if you swap that around so that the crown is nearest the fingernail and the point of the heart is going inwards, that means that you are in a relationship. If you wear it on the left hand with the heart pointing outwards and the crown inwards, that means that you are committed to someone. So be that engaged or betrothed or whichever terminology you want to use. And if you wear that on the left hand with the heart pointed inwards, that means that you are married. So quite a useful tool if you understand how it works and the symbology behind it. And, you know, you're basically, you know, pre-internet dating. The Irish had already figured out a way to share their relationship statuses without the need for Facebook. So there we go. It's one way you can tell the relationship status of an Irish person without things becoming awkward when you ask them out. Assuming both parties know what it means. So just trying to get those little caviar beads into place. Just as well I'd come up with that Cladis imagery and symbology, because yeah, that's taken me the entire time it's taken to do this nail to explain to you, which actually worked quite well. So we're just, oh, those little caviar beads. Do I flash them? I do. Yeah. So we're going to flash them into place because, oh, those little feckers like to move around a lot. And now we're going to be top coating it as well. So with the little caviar beads, we go right up to them. We can go over them a little bit. We want to make sure that they stay in place, but we don't go over the crystals because we want to keep that shine. So we don't want to ruin our crystals, but we are going to then put our top coat on everywhere else around the nail. And then we're going to stick that in for a cure. And voila, we have a lovely tidy workspace again. So moving on to our next finger. And I'm going to do some foils. So I've got some, I'm using cream soda from Deli Artistic. And I don't show it, but I do 3 coats of this one. It was coming out quite sheer on this particular nail, and because of what I was going to be doing on this nail, I just wanted to give it an extra bit of coverage. So there's already now 2 coats on it. This is the 3rd coat, and then after that we're going to be applying some foils. So florals are something else that I associate with Alicia. I'm not quite sure why, specifically roses, but yeah. Maybe it's the glam part of it. Must look back at her logo actually. Does she have flowers in that? Or am I just making that up? So before we get to applying the foils, we are also going to be chroming it. This is an Aurora chrome. Again, these are from Deli Artistic. And they are, so I have them swatched so that I know which is which, and it is the 3rd one in is a purpley sheen to it once you have put it on. It's really hard to tell when you're just looking at a palette of white powder. And trying to figure out which is which. So I'm using the Born Pretty Chrome top coat. I find this is the easiest for when I want full cover chrome. So having difficulty getting the applicator back out, and I've realised, oh, I had one earlier from when I was trying to clean up my little dragon thing. So let's use that one. I did cure the top coat. I cut that entirely out for anyone who's wondering. Wow, that was quick. I did cure the top coat because this would not stick to it otherwise. So you can see that aurora effect on it there. And then we're going to cover most of that up. So I'm using my Sparkle Supplies foil glue. And we are going to be, so Sparkle Supplies UK, they don't ship the foil glue outside of the UK. So sorry to everyone outside of the UK. Can't really help you on that one. But this one is the best one that I've found so far. There was a little bit of bubbling on the side, but that's fine. Because I'm not using a full cover, I'm using one that is only a partial cover. So this one has holographic roses on it. And we're going to apply that. And it was, who was it? Tracy from Desire Nails 57 gave me some advice about using the silicone tool over using my fingers for it, but with just on this particular, because I'm using long stilettos, which is a tip I associate with Alicia, so it had to be. It just wasn't balancing right on the little stands that I had, so I need to get a more stable stand. I have a more stable stand. I have multiple more stable stands, but we didn't use them because that would have been far too logical to do. So yeah, we're using our silicone tool to apply our foil. And voila, it actually turned out, it came off pretty much intact, which was brilliant. The only sort of dodgy area was the bit where there was bubbling, which never sticks properly anyway. And just, for funsies, we are going to be applying a second foil on top of this, which is a purple flower that also has some a hollow detail with it. So that's now going to be going on. A lot of it overlaps with the one that I've just put on, but I should have lined them up or picked different parts of them or figured out how I wanted them to look beforehand, but I didn't really. But I still wanted some of that chrome to be coming through as well, so we do still have some little transparent patches of that. So again, just getting that all into place with the silicone tool, and actually I spent far less time with the silicone tool than I would if I was faffing around with my fingers. So yeah, that definitely works. So thank you very much, Tracy, for that. And isn't that gorgeous? I'm just loving that. Even though the two foils are on top of each other, I think it works well. I think it's turned out really, really nice. Right, we are on to our fourth nail, and this one is, we are going to be doing a cat eye on it. I'm sure there's more going on it than just cat eye. There is. Yes, no, I remember now what I did with this one. So this one, we did 2 coats of this Born Pretty cat eye. I can't remember which one. I don't think it had an actual number on it, but it has a purple base with a blue cat eye effect. on it. So as you can see, I'm having a look, and that little top corner there wasn't fully working the way it wasn't. The cat eye was not reaching that little corner. The second thing we are doing with this nail is we are going to be putting, so I've gotten another mould out, and this one is roses. So we're going to have different coloured purple roses on this. So this polish is a Shea glitter. I think it's one of the reflective glitters. So that is what is going on. There's 2 of that one, I think. And I did 3 different colours altogether, but I only used 2 of them. The third one, it just didn't work out. I'm just scraping the tops of those so we don't have little overhangs on the edges. I don't need these to be completely full, because as long as all of the exposed parts are full, I don't need it completely full on the inside. So this one is Sorrel from Dolly, and this is one I didn't end up using. It just didn't match it in the end. So it's a purple with gold glitter through it, and I think it was the gold glitter just wasn't matching up with everything else that I have used on the nails. It's been more silvers, so it still looked really nice. It just didn't match with the vibe of the nails. So I will obviously be keeping that little rose, and I think that's the benefit of using these molds, is you get to create your own little charms to put onto your nails, and so you can match them to the colours that you are using. And I think then we went back in with inclusive that we used for the dragon earlier. So we're going to do a couple of smaller nails in that, and we're going to do a bigger nail in that as well. So when I was curing these, I did a double cure with them, with it that way, and then I flipped it over and did a cure so that the top of it would also be cured as well, because obviously these are thicker than our standard, what would generally be applying to nails. So to make sure everything is as cured as it can possibly be, I've cured it on both sides. Now we have our nail back out. I've also just put some top coat just to fill in any additional gaps that there were in the polish, in those little roses there. So you can see me taking them out. They come out quite easily. And they are very, very cute. I think this is going to, and it was really easy and quick to actually do. So I think this is something that I'm going to be using a lot more of. I'm still figuring out my little molds, but I definitely think they're going to be a staple within my nails. So I was having a little think about what I wanted it to look like and what design I wanted to do. So we're going to start with one of the bigger roses. So we've gone with, I originally tried Sorrel there, and it just, you know, when I was putting it beside the others, it just wasn't working. Tried it on the nail, again, not working. I've put it to one side. It just wasn't matching with the set, and that's fine. So we're starting off with one of the bigger rows in inclusion. And once I'm happy with the placing of that, I am going to cure that into place so that it doesn't move around when I am applying the others to it. So that's now flashed into place, and you can see the cat eye underneath it, which looks really, really nice. So I now have the Shea J and the small inclusive roses to put onto it as well. So That's one of the Shay J ones. That's one of the ones in inclusive. And we'll do the same up at the top. We can't spread them out as much along the top, but we have some space to spread them out. I'm going to cure those quickly into place first because I don't want things moving around when I am trying to put the others on, and I am learning to cure things quickly into place. So once those have had a quick cure, I'm going to put some of the glue up above that first rose. And we are going to do the same with the two last remaining roses. We're going to apply those up at the tip of towards the cuticle end of the nail. Okay, and getting those into place without them sliding around too much. And then I felt I need something else on this nail. Or do I top coat it first? I can't remember. We'll find out in a second. Oh, I'd realised I'd put the small one on upside down. So thankfully I spotted that before it had time to properly adhere to before it's time to actually cure. So I was able to swap that around. And so we're getting those into place. And then we are going to add a little bit more bling because I felt it needed it, and Alicia does, some of her blinged nails are just incredible. So I'm still very much at beginner level, and she is not. She is far from it. So we're going to go back to the AB and green crystals that we had earlier, and we are going to apply some of those around the roses that we have currently in place. No idea where I'm gone. What's going on? Oh, yeah, I realised that I had, so where I have been wiping when I was doing the rose molds, and just scraped, and I cleaned the thing off on just the corner there, and just to avoid my hand or arm getting caught in it and ending up a polish on myself, I just had to cover that over, and there was some on my watch strap, so I just had to clean that up a little bit. So we are just putting some of the rhinestone glue around the roses, and then we are going to get our boxes of rhinestones back again, and we are going to just fill in some of that space there. So we're going for a mixture of the green and AB rhinestones. So someone asked on Lip Smacking Nails, have we got a fact sheet about Alicia? And the answer was no. However, Alicia very kindly provided a fact sheet about herself for us to use so that we could, talk about her a little bit more. And actually learned a lot about her in that. And she's also shared a lot more of her nails than what she has on her Facebook, on her YouTube. So we got to see a lot of nails that we hadn't seen previously as well, and wow, they are just absolutely amazing. She's such an incredible nail artist. And I know she's planning on doing some exclusive press-ons. So if you are US based and you would like some amazing press-ons, do have a look at Alicia's
Glam Dragon nails and see if you can, if there's any that appeal to you. Currently trying to find the fact sheet that she gave us about herself. But there's so many messages. Oh, here we go. So, swimming with whale sharks. She has gone swimming with whale sharks in the past. And we'll just talk about this while you cannot see anything that I'm doing. But, yeah. She has been skydiving twice and would do it again. Absolutely not. Not a thing that I would do personally. And I'm also medically banned from doing anything like that. So, there we go. She has been backpacking through Europe and ran with the bulls in Spain. So I'm assuming that is Pamplona. And Pamplona is somewhere that I would like to go, but not to go running with the bulls. I would love to do the Camino Santiago de Compostela. And that, if you start that in France, in the Pyrenees, then you go through Pamplona. But I need to figure out an accessible route because I don't think that one is going to be it. She has also wrote a story about her time running with the bulls, and it got published in a backpacking travel book about Spain. That's interesting. She auditioned for Tough Enough season 2. I have no idea. I'm assuming that is some like extreme fitness thing program in the US. I presume it's like something like the SAS survival thing that they do over here on TV, where people are put through insane exercises and tests and things like that to test their endurance and that. Again, I don't think that's something I'll be doing. She didn't make it onto the show, but she was in the commercial and in the first episode. But she didn't qualify for it completely. She has been to 18 states. Oh, sorry, I'm reading this wrong. She's been to all but 18 states. So if there's 50 states, that means she's been to 32 states. Why did you just say that? She has a knack for meeting famous people and winning odd contests. And the only clarification she provided on this is, yes, Rob Lowe is every bit as handsome when you're sitting in front of him as when you see him on TV. Now, I'm a Rob Lowe fan. I love watching 911 Lone Star, and I do watch it because he is in it. And that's the first thing that I came across him in. Apparently, fun fact about him is that he was being considered to be McDreamy in Grey's Anatomy, to be Derek Shepherd. Now, wouldn't that have been a slightly different show if it had been Rob Lowe instead of names gone completely out of my brain? I'm sure someone will tell me what it is. Who played Derek Shepherd? Oh, this is going to annoy me. But yeah, so you can see up close now those nails, just as I'm flash curing these into the rhinestones into place. And I really tried to get a really good light on it, but just the setup that I have at the moment is just, I couldn't really get something that really showed it. And then I said I'd take a picture of them at the end and add that in, and I didn't. So, you know, check my Insta for that. I think this is the best we get. But still not fully doing it justice. Yeah, I said to myself, I'll take a picture at the end, it'll be grand. I didn't. So, Although I do a close-up of them at the end. Right, last nail. We are going in with a pale purple shade, a lovely lilac colour. And we're going to be going over that with a cat eye as well. So one of the things that she told us is that her second grade teacher told her she was a terrible artist and didn't know what she was doing. However, Alicia has a BFA in fine arts, and if you see some of her nails, they are arty. They are proper arty. And the labubus did arrive in time. Post was very late yesterday. I really did not know what I was going to be doing with this nail, and I clearly can't figure out how to open a Ziploc bag, that's, you know, a press seal bag. So we have a little labubu. It is purple, and Alicia has done a set of labubu nails that are where she's drawn the labubus, and they're brilliant. I completely disagree with teachers telling children they can't do something, because actually, second grade, you're still learning how to do things, and it doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to do it, even if you're not good at that time. You know, you should always be encouraging kids to do things. Encourage everyone, not just kids, but, you know, always be encouraging other people to try things, even if they're not good at it. You know, over time, they probably will improve. So this is me pushing my cat eye skills to the absolute limit. So it's kind of like a French tip. And there's just a little corner there at the bottom at the actual tip that I'm not quite happy about. There we go. Making sure we get all that sparkle and goodness to all the way down. So I'm really happy with how that one turned out. So water is one of Alicia's happy places. She lives by the sea. Apparently, she tells us she takes lots of her pictures by her pool, and she justifies that one with it needs the natural light rather than the artificial light indoors. She has to use, you know, she needs proper lighting for us to be able to fully see the wonders of her nail art. That is her justification for taking so many pictures out by the pool. It's not to remind us that she lives in Florida and has a pool. Not that at all. She adores the ocean. She does live near the ocean as well, and deep sea creatures. Cuttlefish, octopus and whale sharks are some of her favourite sea creatures. So we just getting that little labubu there just to sit right at the edge of where the cat eye is starting, so you can see like it creates like a little collar around its neck, and just making sure that it is straight, because I'm not having a crooked labubu on my Alicia nails. There we go. I'm happy with it. And Miss Alicia also has a motorcycle license and would really like to drive a race car around a track one day. I keep telling her she needs to come over here to the UK. You know, we'll find her a racetrack. I'm sure Silverstone would work. I'm sure one of us over here would be able to organise something, maybe, possibly. So just top coating this final nail, making sure our little labubu is going to go absolutely nowhere else. And yeah, that is our final nail. I didn't top coat the foil nail earlier, so we've done that as well. That's currently in getting a cure at the moment. So this is the completed set of nails. And I am quite happy with how they have turned out. I think they're all looking fabulous, and possibly one of the best sets that I have, if not the best set that I have done, which I think is a very fitting tribute to Alicia. Please do check out everyone else who has been involved in this collab and everyone involved with lip smacking nails. They will all be linked down below. If you're watching this as it has come out today, please do check in on everyone else as they are taking part in it as well. And of course, go and check out Miss Alicia's page. Please do let me know what was your favourite nail in this, and I would love if you could leave a like, comment and subscribe and help me to keep my channel getting out there. And thank you so much to Alicia for organising the group and everyone that's in it. Bye!